Hello, welcome to the second video of this course. In this video we will see how to make a simple 4-claw cullet and a bezel set cullet. We will start basically by going to the gems menu, which is here, gems, and the first options, which is the gem loader. We can move this up. By default you will see this little screen, so that you can select the stone cut that you want, stone shape. Let's make it round to keep it easy for the first time, and we just have to select stone size, something like this. Just select whatever you want really. In this case we can make the whole process on the perspective view. I recommend to work on shaded instead of wireframe. Okay, shaded, well, at least for me it's easier. And then we just click on the stone, F6 on the keyboard, and we just have to select head builder. Okay, by default we will get something like this: 4-claw cullet and 2 little jump rings in here. We're not going to do like that, but this is the default option. Important, prong profile. We can change it here on the folder. We click on this little folder here. We can change it. Let's do it something like that. Okay. We can also make it more tapered if we want. Okay. And of course we can increase the size. Let's make it 1.1 for example. We can put it a bit more in. Okay. I'm happy with the close, so I'm not going to change it. If we wanted, we could increase the number of claws. Here it says prongs, but it's the same. Okay. Then here in the second option, we could, for example, click on rail and edit this rail, like moving it down, for example. But in this case, we're going to make it different. What I'm going to do is, you see here this option 2 rails. I'm going to click there, not 3 rails, not 4 rails, but 0 rails. Okay. And I'm going to press right click on the mouse to accept. We will go deep on these other options in another video. This is I just want to make something simple so you can just start doing things. Then we have the 4 claws, and of course we need something underneath the stone. So we can just select the stone, F6, and we can select under bezel. Okay. Of course we have to make it a bit more tapered. Okay. Actually I usually make it, you see that here you can see 100%, so I make it just a tiny bit bigger, just to allow a bit more of metal for the polishing and cleaning up. Okay, and here 1 mil is enough. Okay, don't try to match it exactly here, it's gonna be quite difficult. If I usually do it a bit more, and then we will chop it off. And here 0.5, it's okay. Okay, something like that. Just do whatever you want really. You can also check here on the folder, you can make it a bit more rounded maybe. Okay, just do something similar to this and right click on the mouse to press enter. Actually I don't like this, so the moment that you accept and you want to change it, just click on it, F6, and edit bezel. You can always do this, you can always change it, unless you do a boolean union or boolean difference, but that's another thing. Just enter. Okay, and now I'm going to chop this off. How do I do that? I'm going to go to solid and box, and I will simply just make a box like that, and I will put it underneath, just where the close finishes. And now I'm going to make a boolean difference, which is this option here. First object is going to be this one, then enter, and second object, or surface occlusive surface to subtract with. It's going to be this box, and just press enter again, and then we can delete this box, and what we've done is basically chop this off. Okay, then just finally what we have to do is join everything in one part. Alright, before joining everything, you see that we have 4 different objects. These claws, they are not joined, they are just grouped. We can go to utilities, and here we have the option ungroup. Remember that if you cannot find the icon, you can always write it down. So now I'm going back, Ctrl Z, all this is group, and if I want to ungroup it, I just have to write ungroup. Sorry, I need to select the object and write down ungroup. Okay, so now they are separate. What I was saying, I need to join this in one single object in order to be able to print a wax of this. So if I go to solid, Boolean union, and I select everything that I want to join. I don't need to press shift or anything on the keyboard, just select all the objects that you want to join together and enter. And now as you can see, when you click on the object you only have one. Okay, that's it. This is a cullet. We're done. Then I'm going to show you how to save stuff on Matrix. What I do is here in the project menu, plus arrow, and I'm going to call this project, this exercise, call it 1. Okay, and now you will see that here I have like little boxes. I just have to select the object and put it on the first one. Okay, then imagine that I work on any modification, like, I don't know, for example, I'm gonna copy all this. I just select everything and put it back again. This allows me to have like different versions of the same file, of the same project, so I can always go back to the previous version of it. Okay, all this is saved on your C drive under the projects folder, which I'm going to show you. It's going to be here, projects, and here you will have all the files. Okay, so this exercise, projects, cullet, and these 2 files. Okay, this is just 3DM files. Okay, you can open this in Rhino and you can open this in Matrix, of course, but it still is not an STL file. Then I'm going to delete this, or I'm going to delete only this, and now I'm going to make a bezel. It's much easier. Select the stone, F6, bezel. Right? By default you will see this ugly stuff here. We just have to play with the dimensions, really. Simple as that. You can decide to make it more tapered. You can decide the thickness of the bottom. Hang on, you can also move the parameters by here. Instead of moving the arrows, which sometimes could be a bit annoying, you can just type the dimension you want here. So if I delete this, now it's 1 mil exactly. Okay, then this I'm gonna make it thicker than that. This one, not 0.5, 0.7, 0.8. Let's make it 0.75. So I'm gonna change it here. Okay, and for example, I'm gonna, you see now it's slightly bigger, so I'm gonna change it to slightly smaller, like 99%. Okay. And that's it basically. Just press enter, and that's it's done. Again, we can also edit the bezel again, and for example, I'm gonna remove this. You see this little flat thing here? I don't like it, so I can just this chamfer. I'm gonna get rid of it. Okay, gonna make it a bit less tapered, and I could actually change the profile a little bit so it looks a bit more rounded, all of it. Okay, and just enter. That's it. In this case we don't really have to do any boolean because it's one single object. Okay, that's it. That's it. The last step, well, hang on, I'm going to save it. So I'm going to select the object, and in this case, I'm going to put it into the third box, so I always have access to everything. Let's imagine now that I want to export this into an STL file for wax printing. I'm going to just go to File and select Export Selected, and I would usually save the STL files in the same folder that I have the 3DM files, just to keep everything organized, but it's really up to you. My laptop it's in Spanish, my Windows it's in Spanish, but basically what we're doing is writing down a name. Let's call it bezel1, and of course type is not Rhino, it's STL, which is here, stereolithography. Click in there and just save. I usually use these parameters. You can use these ones, you can use your own. I know that these ones, they work. Maybe somebody else uses another one to work better, but it doesn't make much difference. Okay, and okay, completely ignore this, doesn't really matter. And now, if I go to my folder, projects, cullet1, this is the file. This is an STL file. This is the file that I would use for 3D printing. Okay. Oh, I forgot one thing that might be useful, which is putting the sprue for this, just to make everything easier. In this case, it would not really make a difference, but let's do it. I'm gonna go to curve, line, and I will just make a line from this quadrant. To get the quadrant, I just need to make sure that this option here is checked, okay? So I just make a quadrant and I make a straight line. To make the straight line, I just have to press Shift on the keyboard, you see? Now it's press, now it's not. Now it's press, now it's not. So I press it. And I just make a line, like that. And I just move the line down. To move the line down from perspective, I can just go here. If you're running on matrix 7.5 or 8, you'll have this option that basically allows you to move things in perspective quite easily. If you don't have this, you will need to go to side view and go to move and move it up and down. When you move up and down on the side view or the front view, make sure you're pressing Shift as well. Otherwise, you can really make a mess. You can send the line at the end of the document. Anyway, we just have this line and we're gonna make a pipe. So we go to solid and here we'll see pipe. Let's make it, for example, radius 1 mil, set 1 mil by default. I usually work with diameter, so I would say diameter 1.2, 1.2, and enter. So it's 1.2 all over. And now, if I use this again, I can just, by pulling from the red square, I can make it slightly bigger. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna make it all of it bigger just by pressing Shift and one of the squares. Okay. Make sure, of course, that the solid, if I hide the stone for a second, make sure you avoid this. We don't want this, okay? Make sure that you pull it out. Okay, this is a bit big, so I'm gonna scale it down. This command, MSI, is really useful. It really saves a lot of time. This line, I don't need it anymore, so I just select and delete, and I need to boolean this again. Now it's joined on single object, and I'll have to export again. I can write down export, and we can say bezel1 with sprue. And that's it. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and looking forward to see what you've done. Thank you so much.